Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with us is resident basketball expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, I got to say this before we go anywhere, 9-0. The WCS Sports Conference goes 9-0 through the region tournament. First time in history. That's unbelievable. We'll get to that in just a second. But before that, the WMAA, the Williamson County Middle School Athletic Association championship was this past week. The Page Middle School girls defeat the Grasson girls 42-38. Congratulations to Coach Wes May. Derek Pack, athletic director out there, doing a great job. Not only that, Tate, they won the 6th grade tournament, they won the JV tournament, and they won the varsity tournament. Bright spots out there for Page Middle.
Oh, yeah. Coach Brock at Page, got to be excited about that. We got some players coming. That's a big deal. And
on the boys' side of the WMAA championship, Spring Station coach Keith Holzer and company defeats Sunset 64-31. Coach Holder's going to be excited for that. We're going to have him on the coach's preview show. It might be a tough time getting him to say anything, but yes. Coach Holzer and his group, really, really good basketball team. Coach Goodwin has got a bright future. They got some really good players, the Wade twins. Speaking of Wade, Destin Wade has the play of the week this week.
As he's able to score from the low block. 20-point edge now. Wade back down the floor. He'll try it, and he connects. And the foul. Destin Wade with his 14th point. And he'll try to capitalize on the and one.
As you can see right there, athletic ability, man. This kid, him and his brother both, same size, have high school bodies right now. Tate, if that translates next year, think 6 months, 8 months down the road, these guys are going to be in high school. They're going to be special.
Yeah, they'll be playing early. They will be contributors a lot earlier than you and I were. Maybe me.
No doubt about that, right? All right, on the high school side, District 11 AAA has come to a close. All district play is final. Let's start with the regular season District 11 AAA all-district team. Brentwood, Izzy Franco, Emily Trusha. I don't think there's any surprise in those names. Centennial, no. Malia Robertson. Dixon County has 3. Kaylee Rosenbaum, Ryan Roberts, Katie Roberts. Rosenbaum is a Lipscomb signee, rather. Very good player for them in the post. Independence, Kirsten Hudson. Ravenwood, Kira Downey, Jazz Harmon. Those two are phenomenal players for Mariska Harris. Page is Faith Wilkin. Spring Hill gets one on with Gracie Willett, and Summit with the Colson sisters, Ellie and Olivia. Franklin, number 1 seed going into the tournament, number 1 seed coming out, winning the district championship. Holly Harris, MVP, no surprise there whatsoever. No. Jillian King, Abby Unger round out the all-district district regular season team.
I think they got it 100% right, don't you?
Coach of the year?
John Wild.
John Wild gets Coach of the Year as the Lady Rebs keep running. Let's go straight into it. The number 3 seed, Brentwood, 22-8 currently, beat Page 46-43 in the opening round, then lost to Dixon 49-29. They in turn then beat Ravenwood, the number 4 seed, in the consolation game 39-31. How did Ravenwood get there? Ravenwood had Franklin on the ropes, up 2. Franklin has the ball. Abby Unger steps out of bounds. 2.2 seconds left. They have to go the length of the court. Ravenwood throws the ball in. Abby Unger, of all people, intercepts it at half court, takes one hard dribble, throws up a prayer, and makes it. Lady Rebels win by 1. Let me tell you something. As you know, you've been around sports long enough. If you're going to go all the way and you're going to win big games, you've got to have a little luck. The ball has to bounce your way. This is a prime example for the Lady Rebels.
Without a doubt, and this was their luck, I would think, right? I don't know that they can get. I hate to say luck, but they don't want it to have to come down to that again. And the thing I love about it too is stepped out of bounds, could have hung her head. Oh my gosh, I just lost the game. Nope, came back, made a play, shook it off, made a play right after that, right?
Right, Abby Unger, man, stat sheet does not show what she brings to the team. She is the best, probably arguably the best defender on the team, great rebounder, does everything for that team. Really good player because obviously everybody's filled out their role. We got Jillian King, Holly Harris doing most of the scoring, load for that team. Right. Abby Unger, man, she's the Dennis Rodman of the group. She goes and gets those rebounds. She plays great defense.
Well, and at rivalry night at Wings and Rings that night, it was very clear. I mean, Coach Wild mentioned it when you had the girls on, the young ladies on. They all talked about it. It's obvious she's kind of the toughness of the group and, like you said, the Rodman. And I don't know if she She wants to score. That's a compliment.
That is a compliment, Abby. That is a compliment.
And it's actually a huge compliment. So, but anyways, yeah, she brings the toughness to that group, and they are a tough group. You know, they hang their hat on defense.
Number one, Franklin, how did they get there? They're 28-2 currently, Tate. They're 2 wins away from 30. Think about that, 30-2 if they could get there. Now, they beat Centennial in the opening round, 43-12. They beat Ravenwood 36-35, as we spoke of just a moment ago. And then they beat Dixon 44-21. I don't think any of this is a surprise. Ravenwood became literally one tip, one mishandling of the ball away from being a championship game. They fall to the consolation game, and then they lose the consolation game. Now think about that. They're going into the region tournament in 4th place, and who do they draw? They draw an undefeated Cane Ridge team, which we'll get to in just a moment. But Franklin wins the 11 AAA tournament going away, beating Dixon 44-21. Congratulations to the Lady Rebs. They enter into the 6 AAA tournament, which is the region tournament, as the number 1 seed. As the number 1 seed, they played McGavick. McGavick coming in as the number 4 seed. I think you and I both knew coming in that the chances of McGavick beating the Lady Rebels was slim to none.
Did you bring your refillable popcorn tub?
It was Popcorn City
Popcorn
early in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's.
They were literally leading this game by almost 50 points at halftime.
Well, you know, I mean, we thought that none of those matchups in the first round of the region were really good, right? And that we had a really good chance to sweep, which we did. Not to steal your thunder, but we did. And so, you know, when you think you're going to go 4-0, and you got to think that then that means that number 1 seed's a pretty big mismatch, and it was.
Well, 68-22. Harris had 21. King had 20. King with 6 threes. Harris with 4 threes. The efficiency of their shooting percentage that night. I don't have the exact percentage in front of me, but I'm telling you, it was very high.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to keep them focused. It's funny to watch the Wolfman himself, Coach Wild, sitting back, legs crossed. But let me tell you, he was just as intense.
I
up
guarantee
50, getting up, calling timeouts. You know, when they didn't have a couple possessions of ball security, he let them know about it. But it's hard to keep them focused. You know, I have been on both sides of that coin, one side more so than the other.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. Keep people focused to do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, you just mentioned Holly had 21 points, and Jillian had 20 points. McGavick had 22 points total.
I hadn't thought about that.
There you go. Pretty impressive. So they did stay focused.
Congratulations, McGavick. You didn't prolong the inevitable. You got into the tournament. You're happy to get into there as the 4th seed, but who do you get to draw? You get to draw Franklin, who's playing as good as basketball as anybody in the state of Tennessee right now.
I think so, without a doubt. They are. It's no longer a surprise to anybody.
No, Coach Miles Thrash of Brentwood, they come in as the number 3 seed. They defeat the number 2 seed of Hillsboro, 61-31. So you got to think, the other side, number 2, that lost to Cane Ridge in the championship game on their side, our number 3 beats by 30.
30.
Izzy Franco, the Trucial twins, they just keep rolling. This is a team that at one point in time we had discussed, are they trending in the right direction? They are on the right plane right now, but unfortunately this is going to be a tough assignment for them moving forward.
Yeah, I think they're really scary. I mean, they were up, and then they were down for a while, and you know they are one of Franklin's losses. Now that was back in December, but they're one of their losses. And you know, Delaney Trucial had 16 points the other night, and Izzy Franco had 15. The thing I love about her, she had 10 rebounds. I mean, she's not you know, when you think of their team, you probably, if you haven't seen them play, you probably don't think of her being the leading rebounder, but she had 10 rebounds and 3 assists, and so, you know, they are, when they're playing well, I think they're very, very dangerous. And so,
Izzy Franco is a great player. I mean, she's
does it all.
Extremely athletic, quick as a cat, plays good defense. They mixed it up the other night with a little bit of man, a little bit of zone. She plays the top of the zone. I mean, she's got great hands. Can finish around the basket. Has a really quick first step. Trucial twins, good sized.
Well, Franco's the only senior too, I believe. Right.
That's correct. And you got the Trucial twins who are very tall guards that can be a guard post combo. It's just according to the matchup. So it gives people those matchup problems. But Franco, when they spread the floor, go 4 out, 1 in, or even 5 out, she can beat by that defender and get in there and score. And she can shoot the 3. So she is definitely a threat to Franco. I know Coach Wild has lost sleep thinking about how to guard Izzy Franco and the Lady Bruins. Ravenwood, as we mentioned earlier, Number 4 seed came in one of the most remarkable girls games I've seen in a long time. Cane Ridge, 27-0, undefeated, number 2 ranked in AAA polls, came into this game. Everybody thought for sure, and if you watched the first 5 minutes of this game, Tate, you would have thought Ravenwood was down 40 and this game was over because they struggled. Cane Ridge had length. They're so fast, great full court pressure. Couldn't even get the ball across. And, they got themselves down in a hole early, 16-2. Ravenwood kept chipping away, finally getting a little bit more confidence as the game moved along. Kira got her feet under it, got a couple baskets, got to feeling better about things. They chipped it away. They got to single digits before half.
7.
Once they got it to single digits, they came out of halftime, had a great second half, particularly first start of the 5 minutes of the third quarter, which is the most important part of the game. And I'm making a prediction, playing hypotheticals, if Cane Ridge comes out and plays the first 3 to 5 minutes like they did the first 3-5 minutes of the game, that game is way over. They don't. Ravenwood finally takes a lead with about 4 minutes to go in the game, and Cane Ridge looks like they didn't know what to do.
Well, they haven't been in that position, I don't think. Not only have they not been beaten, I don't think they were even really behind very much. And, there's 2 different ways to do it. I think their schedule, I don't think they had a whole lot of tough, look right there. We know they didn't have a whole lot of tough district games, and I don't know how many tough games they had out of district, so it had really never been there. And then you look at what Ravenwood's played all year long, so, they were battle-tested.
Here's the key. Jazz Harmon, arguably the best player in the district, did not even play. No. Kiera Downey put this team on her back, and you know what? Hats off for her. I love watching her play. She's such a fantastic young lady. To go through the adversity that she's gone through with careers, over her career with some injuries and whatnot last year, she bounces back. She gets this thing, puts the team kind of on her shoulders. She scored 16. Lexi Sanderson, freshman, knocks down. She only had 6 points, but it is the biggest 6 points of that game.
Right.
I'm talking big time, clutch shots, win the game. To win the game at the end, they won it 42-40 in a stunner to go 27-0.
Had to be the upset of the state.
No doubt.
In any classification.
I mean, hats off to Coach Tribute. Go 27-0. That's pretty impressive. But
and she's first class.
She is first class. But hats off to Mariska. I went down and talked to Coach Harris before the game. She's like, we're here. We're going to compete. And I said, that's all you can do. Best of luck. And, those first 4 minutes, I was thinking, I hope you can keep up the competitiveness because it's easily to take the light switch and cut it off. And they did not. And that is something that people need to look at as an example of how to overcome, man. Right. Just keep fighting, anything can happen. Dixon County, number 2, Dixon County came in and defeated Antioch 52-39 for a Region 11 AAA sweep, so that means one thing, Tate. That means the tournament now goes from Antioch back to the district tournament host site, which is Franklin. So you got Coach Wild and Franklin Lady Rebels playing on their home court for the Region semis. What do you think?
Well, it's a heck of an advantage, right? I mean, home court and I know everybody in the district's happy about it, coming back to Franklin. I know you're happy about it, so big deal. But yeah, Franklin, they're playing great basketball, but they're all so close now, the teams that are left. So, they literally, you all talk about it all the time, but you can't have an off night, and they can't afford to have one now.
Well, these
Even
games,
though they are at home.
These games couldn't have been drawn up any better than what they are right now. Let's look at these matchups right now. Franklin versus Brentwood. Brentwood won this first matchup December 1st, like you spoke earlier, 56-51. Franklin returned the favor 49-24. They have split. Now they're going into the rubber match, as they like to call it. Here it is. Loser goes home. Winner goes on to the region championship game and a guaranteed sectional berth.
Right. And here's the other thing. I think they're both playing well right now. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it ought to be a great game.
Ravenwood will host Dixon. Dixon won 39-31 first time they met. Guess who won the second one?
Ravenwood.
Ravenwood won 53-45 in this rubber match. What do you think about this particular matchup?
Same thing. I think they're both playing really well. The thing I'd feel a lot better about it if Jazz Harmon was still playing. Because, at the end of the day, they had two young ladies that could score in double figures any night, right? So I think Dixon kind of gives them a little bit of matchup problem, but so did Cane Ridge, and we saw what happened.
Two things sticks out in my mind on this game is Rosenbaum. Pack line defense on Rosenbaum. Make sure she does not get it because she plays great with her back to the basket. They have a couple other underclassmen that are really good guards too. So if you can control the Rosenbaum situation, because this game's going to be low and ugly. It's not going to be an up and down, we're going to press you type deal. I think it works in Ravenwood's favor if they can get up and down like they did the other night. So maybe they try to spin this thing on their head and make Dixon, speed it up, try to run Rosenbaum to death, post, block to block. We'll see what happens. Nolensville on the 6AA region side, Nolensville comes in as the number 2 seed. Get this, several milestones here. Number 1, Coach Ladd, Nolensville, 20 wins, 20-8.
Awesome.
Defeated Camden 58-22 after losing to Community in the district championship because they had several milestones they could have gotten here. They could have won the district championship for the first time. They get beat by Community. I think that will pay off in the long run if they get to play them again. But they defeat Camden for the first ever region tournament win and also get 20 wins. Zoe Pillar, 15 points, 9 rebounds. Gracie Baird, 11 points. Parker Leftwich, 10 points. What have I said all year long about the Lady Knights? Where are they going to be?
They're going to be in the sectionals.
I've said that all year long, and I still believe that.
I think you're right.
So congratulations to those teams. That is on the girls' side. The boys' side, if you have not had an opportunity, nothing against the girls because those games were phenomenal too. If you haven't had a chance to see the boys' teams play, now we talk about this. We've talked about it in the past. We talk about it with the football teams, Tate. We don't realize how good our teams are until we get out. Never in a million years would I have ever thought that the WCS Sports Conference goes 9-0. 9 teams enter the region tournaments, 9 teams advance.
Oh, it's awesome, and against really tough competition, and so and the great thing about it is now Fairview's playing so well in basketball, and so they're advancing. They're one of the ones, and it's just a lot of good. I know you're getting ready to talk about it. You start looking at the all district teams. A lot of great players in there, man.
Speaking of all district team, let's go through them. Tell us who we got, Tate.
Brentwood, David Winley, Jack Thurman, Harry Lackey. No surprise, I think, in any of those. Centennial, Shari Hainsworth, and Trey Carlton. Dixon County had Noah Edmondson. Franklin, Reese Glover. He was the MVP. Did that one surprise you?
No.
Okay. He was the MVP. Evan
Unanimous,
Sigler.
by the way.
He was?
Yeah.
Nice. And Jack Patton. Independence, Mackay James, Mac James, Page, Jack Emerson, Spring Hill, Justin Oden, Ravenwood, Jaden Smallwood, and Summit had Jaden Lewis, one of my favorites, and DeMonte Dixon. Coach of the year, you want to guess?
DJ.
Darren
Jones. Now, several things on this list. One name that did not make the list that I felt was deserving, but it just comes down to votes, obviously, Dusty Williams.
Williams,
From Centennial. But he got his dues back, made all tournament, district tournament, obviously. Will make all region team as well. But they need one more win to get themselves into the sub-state play in the championship game. Let's get to it first. Franklin, number 1 seed, going into the district tournament, 26-5. They beat Indy in the opening round, 58-55, highly contested. Now, here's the theme about Franklin. Every game they've played for the last 3 weeks, DJ has not been able to sit down and cross his legs like the Wolfman has, Coach John Wild. Coach Joins has had a nail-biter every game for the last 3 weeks. He lost to Centennial 64-58 in a great match up in the semis with the Battle of Franklin there. And then he beat Dixon County 59-50. It's all within these single-digit games in the consolation games to come out on the number 3 slot. Number 2, Brentwood, 25-6 currently right now. Defeated Page 41-29 in the opening round of district play. Dixon County 56-44 in the semis. Dixon County now playing really good basketball.
Yes.
Coach Tiger's done a good job. And then beat the Centennial in the championship game in a 77-76 overtime thriller, and it was a good one right there. Trey Carlton fouls out with a minute and a half to go. I think that changes the complexion of the game. Ashari Hainsworth hits a banked-in 3 as time expires to put them into overtime, and Brentwood just outlasts them in that particular game. That matchup is good. That just goes to show you where Centennial is right now.
Without a doubt. I mean, they can go home or they can win and be. I could see them being Murfreesboro, And it was a great game. And you were talking about a lesson of not giving up and packing it in, hanging your head. Same thing with Brentwood. They didn't really play very well, kind of the middle of the game. Centennial was after them, right? And then second half, they kept their composure.
Thurman had 20 in fourth quarter and overtime combined. So
that's strong.
It's strong.
So, yeah, I think he had 32 for the game.
Had 32 and Winley had 30.
Winley had 20. 30?
30.
Okay. And they scored 77 points.
So there you go. 60 of the 77.
But Centennial played great too. And you mentioned that, Trey Carlton doesn't foul out. I don't know, maybe a different result. But so they're a foul away really from maybe being the district champions.
What does that say about Centennial? What have we been saying about Centennial? They are the dark horse
You
of
don't
the
want to see
group
them in the
the
tournament?
entire time. They're 17-13. People say, well, they've got 13 losses, but man, Coach Froden has done one thing that has benefited them coming out. They will not see any team that will scare them because they have played the best of the best all the way through. 17-13 is their current record. They defeated Summit in the opening round, 59-53, and some thought that was an upset. But you know, they were playing good. They were playing better basketball at that point in time. They beat Franklin, and then they lost to Brentwood in the championship game, so they go into region play as the number 2 seed. On the 11 AA side, Fairview 24-6. Trey McCoy right now. I'm telling you, I went to that game Saturday. I got a chance to see Fairview play in the region tournament first round. Uncharted territory for them. Uncharted waters. They've never been in that region tournament game since 1991. Now think about that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. 1991.
That was my senior year. That's why
I was a freshman.
I'm getting old.
I was pretty good then too. I weighed 110 pounds and had hair.
I bet you were impressive in the weight
I
room.
was impressive. I could touch the rim. And
We need to get a
three.
picture of this. I'd like to see a picture.
Fairview defeats Hickman County 72-46, speaking of, in the first round. They beat Lewis County 56-49, and then Camden 72-49. I was at that game. That was a drubbing. It was not even close. They are playing really, really good basketball. They've got a perfect mix, Tate. Great guards, Cam Harris-Lusk, Darius James, DJ Estes can stroke it, man. He can shoot that three. Then you've got the 2 post guys. You've got a post on the bench. So we've got 3 posts to work with. This team right here has got a special quality about them. Now, at the game the other night, after they defeated and won the 11 AA championship, they hosted Forest, who came in as the number 4 from the other seed, which is Nolensville's district, at Fairview. Forest has a young man. It's a freshman. It's already got 50 points under his belt. Left-handed, great player. Probably, I didn't see the box score. I think he ended up with 20 against Fairview. Fairview has not been behind too much all year, right? They get behind 10 points at one point in time, mid-third quarter. This game could have been over. They chipped away, got back. It all starts with defense. Cam Harris-Lusk, Darius James decided that kid is not going to score again, and they locked him down. And when they did, they got the ball out and run. This team, which you would think would be a half-court set team,
They're running.
they are running and gunning.
Now, those some athletic guys you just mentioned.
They get the ball out on the wings. They look at pick and rolls for the big guys. They got a couple guys that can roll. They drop it to them. If you're not out of the way, they're going to dunk. And it's pretty fun to watch on the AA level to see that kind of
love
team.
that, yeah.
At Fairview.
Yes.
So Nolensville 15-13. They go in as the number 3 seed. They lost to Murfreesboro Central Magnet in the semis, 56-45. Then they beat Forest, as we just spoke of, 87-47. Beat them by 40 in the consolation game. Now, this district, 6 AA, it's going to be interesting. In the semis right now, you've got Marshall County playing Nolensville, and you've got Fairview playing Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Central Magnet is 19-13. Marshall County 22-9. They got the KJ down there that's averaging 40 in a district tournament.
He's legit.
Nolensville beat them 72-63 first time, and also beat them the second time 73-72. Is that a good sign or a bad sign going into this game?
I don't know, man. I'm going to say good sign, but maybe they got their number. We talk about matchup problems all the time. Maybe Nolensville gives them a matchup problem. But I know this, if Wharton, Blodorn, and Strawman score 12 apiece again, they're going to be okay.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's spreading the ball around. Blodorn is going to be Blodorn is the best player in that district. Now, the KJ arguably from Marshall County is the high scoring, high flyer, Morehead State OVC offer. Blodorn is an OVC player right now, if something doesn't happen. He's a junior. Best post in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how that game plays out. Now, I don't like coming in, beating them twice and have to beat them one more time. You know how hard it is. Fairview, Murfreesboro, Central Magnet, I think will come down to who's played the best overall competition up until this point to see what happens. If they both advance, you're looking at an all WCS Sports Conference AA region championship game.
Be pretty neat.
Both going to sub-state.
Be awesome.
So let's look at the AAA side in the region matchups. So Region 1, Brentwood defeated McGavick 58-38, beat them by 20. I don't think there's any surprise there. Household names, Windley with 18, Jack Thurman with 18. It's one of these things we keep seeing. Ben Mills, 8 points. He's a guy that comes off the post for them. Clean up, man, Rodman styled. Plays defense, rebounds, putbacks, 8 points. Keep a name. Here's a name I want you to keep an eye on. Preston Moore. He had 2 points in this game. He is like John Stockton out there. I'm telling you, watch this guy. He scores when they need him. He handles the ball. He doesn't turn it over. He plays good defense.
He does a great job of that.
He is quick as a cat.
Yep.
Stat sheet doesn't show that. Keep an eye on him as we move forward in this tournament. Centennial, number 2 seed, defeated Hunters Lane 74-49. Haynesworth with 12 points. Dusty Williams with 18. Hayden Pearson, 17. It's like a broken record. Trey Carlton finishes with 4 all in the first half. Out with injury. We'll see what happens to him. I think he'll be okay to play.
Boy, it'd be big.
It would be big if he plays there. Franklin defeated Antioch 59-50 in their first round matchup. I know that matchup was not exactly favorable to Franklin. Coach Jones.
I think they had the toughest one of anybody.
Right.
In the first round.
I agree. Dixon County, thanks Dixon, loses to Cane Ridge 77-67. If Dixon would have won that game, the entire tournament shifts back to Franklin.
That's a lot of hot dogs and popcorn.
I want you to think about that. Metro boys, 1-3.
Oh yeah, but we thought that's how it was going to happen. We thought Franklin had the toughest matchup, but we knew those other two were going to win.
So that brings us to this semifinals rounds, and you better go get a ticket. Brentwood versus Franklin one more time. Loser goes home. Winner gets a berth in the sectional and the championship game. BHS won first matchup 56-55. Franklin 64-58 the second time. They've played 51 times. Brentwood has won 26. Franklin has won 25. What do you think about that? Duke, North Carolina, same thing.
Exact same
7
thing.
points separate those guys. What do you think about this matchup? Predict it right now. Go. Ooh, I put you on the spot.
Home court, Franklin. I think that Brentwood's worst matchup is Franklin.
This is what I told Coach Jones earlier today. Brentwood 2.5 in Vegas right now, just because of the fact that the size and they're playing pretty good basketball. Not that both of them are, but their margin of victory. So it's 2.5. It's almost a pick 'em.
Well, and here's one thing you look at. I would think you're the basketball coach. Thurman and Windley, 18 points, 32 and 30. Somebody's going to have to step up for Brentwood because they're not going to let them both do that.
Here's your key. Sigler has 15 or more. Franklin wins this game. Gotcha. Centennial versus Cane Ridge. Cane Ridge is 25-6. Cane Ridge won the first matchup 81-70, won the second one 65-62. Can Pete Froden and the Cougars pull it off?
Yes, but I think Marlon Sims does the best job of any of those guys over on the other side, and Cane Ridge is athletic. I think if Trey Carlton plays, they win.
Wow, that's stout. Centennial wins if Trey Carlton plays.
Yes.
If he does not play,
I can't book it, but I think they win.
I think Centennial gets them.
I do too.
Third time's a charm. Nolensville, Marshall County.
Come on.
That's a tough one. Blade
Yellow
Orange.
Jackets for real. Oh, Nolensville. No. I'm going to go Marshall County. Great season, though, for them.
Fairview in a nail biter. Murfreesboro Central. They're in uncharted territories. They're getting a little nerves.
They
overcome the nerves. Give me, okay? And they go as their motors go. And their two motors are Cam Harris-Lusk and
Darius James.
There you
go. Sports performance.
Darius James also the MVP of that district regular season, up for Mr. Football finalist.
Did specializing? Sure, I'm glad Darius James didn't specialize.
Or Cam Harris-Lusk. I mean, if you take those two guys off that team, they're not sitting there at 28.
No, I think they're for real, man.
They are. They really are. Need a good shoot night from DJ Estes. He can stroke it. He needs to shoot that ball well. They've got so many pieces of the puzzle. I'm telling you, they are a fun team.
Yes.
They're about 6 or 7 deep. That's their only Achilles heel. They're going to have to take care of that. If they get in foul trouble, that can hurt them. If they stay out of foul trouble, Fairview, man, sectional bid. That would be awesome. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
You know the most important lesson you can teach your kids about playing sports is concussion signs and symptoms. After a hit to the head, if they have any concussion signs like blurred vision or headache, they need to stay out of play until they're checked by a healthcare professional. Play safe when it comes to concussion. When in doubt, sit them out. This is the other thing you can teach them. It comes in handy.